Hello everyone, welcome to Entertainment Circle Network. I'm Sheyla Paz and with me is the legend today, Miss Janet Murguía. ¿Cómo estás? How are you?
Very good. It's un placer estar aquí. It really is an honor for me to be here on such a wonderful event, the 10th anniversary of Conexion Americas.
Look, you just say that and I got goosebumps.
Conexion is one of our star affiliates. We have about 300 community-based organizations that NCLR supports, and Conexion is one of them. And it's just wonderful to see the growth and the strength of how this one organization has supported Nashville and its immigrant and Latino communities.
And I'm so happy that you came and shared your story and talked to everybody so they can continue the support.
It's so important because, you know, we do such great work. NCLR, its affiliates, like Conexion, and sometimes we aren't as good at telling the story of the impact of the work. And today we saw two young women who really just reflect a small part of what the success that Conexion has had in touching people's lives. But we had Elizabeth and Diana who told their story, and you know, it's important for people to know that with a little bit of support, we can thrive and make so many contributions here in Nashville and across the country.
Yes, and you're talking about their story, but your story is incredible too.
Yeah, I think everybody who is here today and who's out there has a story, and that story is often connected to people who supported them. And when it comes to our immigrant and Latino communities, I mean, we can point to our parents, we can point to people who came before them, and talk about their journeys, and again, how those journeys have led to great success and the great ability to make contributions back to this country.
When you were giving your speech, you said that your father or your mother were telling you that nobody's better than you, that nobody's less than you.
Yes, I think
that kind of like touched my heart because my mom used to tell me that too.
Yeah. Well, you know, as we're growing up, I think there's no stronger influence than our parents, and the values that they set forth for me and my 6 brothers and sisters were very important. And even though they didn't have much of an education, I think my dad had a 7th grade education, my mom a 5th grade education, they knew that it would be important for their children to succeed, and they also instilled in us very good values. And when you combine good values with a great education, then I think you could see that success. But my parents would always remind us, my dad would say that, you know, you're not better than anyone else, but don't forget that you're not less than anyone else either.
Yes.
And another great thing that he would say to us, el sol sale para todos.
Sí.
The sun shines for everyone. And so I think for us, he understood fundamentally that opportunity was there if we were determined to find it. And you know, we worked hard in my family, and we got our education, and we saw the results. And it's been a great American story, and it's a story that's replicated and repeated by so many in our community every day.
And you all graduated, got great degrees, but you got to work with Bill Clinton. Tell me about how does it feel to work for a president being a Latina?
Well, you know, I'm very grateful to President Clinton for asking me to work in the White House and to lead his help lead his Office of Legislative Affairs at the time, and it really gave me great experience. And I recognize that as one of the very few Latinas who have that experience, I have a responsibility to use that experience to give back, and I couldn't be more honored or proud to be at the helm of the largest Latino civil rights and advocacy organization today, the National Council La Raza, using that experience, using that knowledge now to give back to the community. And, it's important for us to remember that there are people along the way who give us these opportunities. I'll always be grateful to President Clinton for believing in me enough to hire me and to have me work in the White House and to have that very special experience of working in the West Wing of the White House. And that's why being able to take my parents to visit the president on that day and to actually see them in the Oval Office with President Clinton was an incredible experience, and one that I'll never forget and will always be probably my most memorable experience.
Wonderful. I get goosebumps. You briefly mentioned a little bit about the DREAM Act. Mm-hmm. What do you think it's going to take to convince Congress and the Senate to pass the DREAM Act?
Well, the DREAM Act is an important piece of legislation that would offer, I think, a great chance for our young people to be able to continue to give back as they pursue their education. Mm-hmm. And I guess first and foremost, I think we need members of Congress like Congressman Jim Cooper, mm-hmm. who made a courageous vote in support of the DREAM Act. You and I think it's common sense to support the DREAM Act because it is in many ways reflective of something that you naturally would want to see. Yeah. Young people who have succeeded in high school, graduated, wanting to go on and to pursue a college education. But others don't see it that way necessarily in Congress. And so for people like Congressman Cooper mm-hmm. to take that stand and to support members of Congress who stand with the Latino community, mm-hmm. who support our community and our young people is really important. But we need to do a lot more to educate other members of Congress across both sides of the aisle mm-hmm. to understand how important it is to have reforms in our immigration system mm-hmm. and to understand that an important first step could be and would be supporting the DREAM Act. And we have never seen immigration laws passed without bipartisan support. Mm-hmm. So we need members on both sides of the aisle, and it's going to be really important for us to continue to advocate for these reforms and to find support among members of Congress as well as senators who can support these reforms.
Well, we hope so in the near future.
Yes, hopefully very soon. Yes. That's another reason why the work that we do at the National Council La Raza to not only support programs and services mm-hmm. that support Latinos across this country, but policy and advocacy that takes an agenda like the DREAM Act and immigration reform, mm-hmm. including education, health, and other issues to Congress. Mm-hmm. But one thing that's more important more and more is to make sure that we are involved in our local communities and that we're civically engaged. Mm-hmm. Are we eligible to become citizens, and have we mm-hmm. become citizens? Are we eligible to vote, and have we registered to vote? Are we educated voters, and do we actually go to vote on election day? Those are important steps that at NCLR we are moving forward in a big way to make sure that our community is taking those steps. And it's going to be more important if we want to see those changes in policy occur. So we must be involved, and we must be civically engaged, we must vote. And ultimately, if we do vote, we will be able to see the changes, and we won't have to ask for others to make those changes. We can be guaranteed that those changes will happen.
Please listen to her. She's a wise woman. She's right. One last question. What would you advise to young Latinas who wants to become entrepreneurs?
Oh, well, I just think we have so much potential, and it's really important for our young people, particularly Latinas, to pursue their education. We can't be satisfied with high school degrees. We can't be satisfied with college degrees. We need to get our college degrees. But anybody who can make sure that they're getting as much education as possible is going to be important. And I think for Latinas, I think the sky's the limit anymore. If we get our education and we are determined to find opportunities, we can find them. And it's good to have partners and allies and help and mentors. Mm-hmm. And I think for us, it's important to count on organizations like Conexion national organizations like the National Council of Raza and to find ways that they are offering support for their success. But mostly it takes your education and great determination and passion for wanting to do what you want to do and finding that dream and making it come true.
All right. Thank you so much. You're so inspiring. Okay, there you have it. Listen to her and go do it. Don't just sit there and wait for it to come to you. You have to go get it. Do not go anywhere. Continue right here on the Entertainment Circle Network.